Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today is St. Patrick's Day, and I'll be going to a St. Patrick's Day festival later, so I hope to share more about that in tomorrow's podcast. But today, I want to tell you a little bit more about the history of St. Patrick's Day. Well, of course, it started off many, many years ago as a religious festival. And then in America, in the 17th century, they had the first ever St. Patrick's Day parade. Over the years, it's developed into a secular festival. These days, it has nothing to do with religion. It's a day when people drink a lot, love to celebrate Irish culture, and they just have a real party atmosphere. There's parades taking place all over the world. The biggest one in the English-speaking world is in New York. This is a testament to how many Irish people emigrated to New York in the 19th century. Irish people are strong. At that time in their history, they faced famine, oppression, political problems, and many of them were forced to get on boats and leave. If they got on a boat on one side of the country, they would end up in Boston, and on the other side, they would end up in the UK. The closest point between Ireland and the UK, I think, is Scotland. The way Ireland is situated on the map, between the two countries, there's only, I think, 15 miles at the closest point. And on a very clear day, if you go to the coast in Scotland, you can sometimes see Ireland in the distance. It's very interesting and really not far away. There's loads of Irish surnames in the UK because, like myself, many of us had Irish grandmothers or Irish grandparents. When they first came here in the 19th century, everybody didn't like them. The Irish people really weren't popular. They came from a war-torn country, and they carried with them all kinds of problems because of the background they came from. Very soon, though, they had huge families and they settled into UK culture. They helped to build up the place. They were known for being strong and being builders and doing many, many types of work. And even today, we sometimes hear Irish accents all around our towns and cities. Irish culture is celebrated because of its traditional way of life. Everyone loves Irish music, Irish beer, and Irish parties. They were famous for this in the old days, and perhaps up to a point they still are. So today is the big day to celebrate. It's not all a bed of roses, though. A bed of roses means an ideal situation. It's not always a bed of roses. For example, one Irish group that continue to be persecuted today would be the Irish Gypsies. The word gypsy in every country brings up fear in people's minds. We have gypsies who move around the UK and Ireland in little caravans. Sometimes they can appear in towns and villages, and sadly, nobody wants them. There's a stereotype that they bring with them problems, they bring with them crime. I'm sure that isn't always true. and nobody wants to see them in their towns and villages. I was out walking the other day, and behind one of our old abandoned factories, I saw a little bit of smoke. And as I walked around to the back to see where the smoke was coming from, I could see it was coming from a little chimney on top of a caravan. Now, I didn't know at first who they were, but one of my neighbours told me, oh, these are Irish gypsies, and we should stay away from them. It's very sad that we don't all live as one in unity, because as we all know, hatred, well, the only place that goes is to further persecution and ultimately death. It's really sad, when I hear people hating a minority group or hating another person. I always say, maybe you shouldn't hate the person. Maybe you should instead hate their opinions. Because when we really hate people, well, it's not very nice. Anyway, the Irish gypsies, or tinkers as they're sometimes known, often appear in towns and villages. There are special places they can go to live, and even in those places, they still face persecution, with the government trying to evict them or force them to move. So that's one group which unfortunately isn't as welcome as the others. All across Europe, there are gypsies, and the Irish gypsies, I believe, are cousins of the Romani gypsies. They kind of, generally speaking, of course, they kind of have the same complexion. They kind of look the same, but they have their own distinct culture, which involves the Irish language or dialects of the Irish language and their own traditions. Getting back to St. Patrick's Day. Well, St. Patrick's Day is a lovely day, but it seems to me that with every passing year, people kind of lose sight of what it was supposed to represent, and it's quickly becoming a day to get drunk. I'm not sure if many people would even remember that they had Irish roots. In a country like the UK, you don't really need much of an excuse to get drunk anyway, but it doesn't seem to be much more than that. And I'm kind of sad about that, because instead of going out and creating a lovely parade for everyone to enjoy, it's more of a kind of a pub thing. So we have loads of Irish pubs, and those pubs who are not Irish will be kind of wanting to celebrate anyway, so they'll put up Irish decorations. So for many people, St. Patrick's Day is simply a day in the pub. The religious roots of St. Patrick's Day generally aren't remembered. I was talking to someone the other day, and they asked me, do you know anything about the history of St. Patrick's Day? And I said, well, of course. And I tried to explain what I know. This is a weird thing about becoming older. You suddenly become a historian, and you're expected to remember stories that your grandparents have told you. But I wanted to say to the person, look, you should kind of know this. It's part of British culture and Irish culture. You shouldn't just be asking older people to tell you. Why don't you look it up and enjoy the day? It seems a little bit strange, but anyway, a lot of things on social media regarding St. Patrick's Day. For example, you'll see that the Irish government will be sending St. Patrick's Day greetings all around the world. You will also know that many other countries will be writing to the Irish government, wishing them a very happy St. Patrick's Day. And just looking through some of these tweets and social media things, someone here is saying, oh, counting down to St. Patrick's Day. Here's some images of Chicago and Ireland. And for other people, there's one here from one of the American government departments wishing the Irish Prime Minister a happy St. Patrick's Day. There's some old tweets here how the Irish Prime Minister's visit to Washington, which apparently takes place regularly, was virtual during COVID, and that was the only time when St. Patrick's Day celebrations had actually stopped. And there's a survey here. How do you plan to celebrate St. Patrick's Day? 30% saying they would wear green. 13% saying they would eat Irish food. I don't know what Irish food would be. I mean, I know what Guinness is, the beer, but I don't actually know what other foods they have. I think it's the same as us. They don't really celebrate food. 12% saying they don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I'm guessing they would be other kinds of religious people. 8% of people saying that they plan to get drunk. Another 8% saying that they will drink a green beer. Oh yes, they always produce green beer for St. Patrick's Day, don't they? And 6% saying they would go to a St. Patrick's Day parade. Another survey asked, what does St. Patrick's Day mean to you? 30% said it's a celebration of Irish culture. 13% said, I've no idea. 12% said it's a religious day. And 9% said it's an excuse to drink beer. Now, those surveys, of course, are American, okay, so I would imagine the drinking part would be much higher here in the UK. And for Irish people, when they say that they're going to eat Irish food, I don't really know what they mean by that, but there is some kind of green dressing that they can put on food to make it look green. That's very popular in America. And apparently an amount of green colouring, a green dye, will be placed into the Chicago River to make it look green on the day. So I suppose that'll be happening today, I suppose. Let's see. Yeah, apparently in America, cabbage, the sales of cabbage go up by 70% because people obviously associate that with Ireland. I don't know why. Let's see, 57% of Americans will be celebrating St. Patrick's Day. The average American will be spending $40 on St. Patrick's Day. There's an 800% increase in the serving of Guinness on St. Patrick's Day. And it's been going on in America, this procession and celebration, for 284 years. Oh, very interesting, isn't it? So if you are wondering how to celebrate it, eat something green. Watch a parade. Other weird facts, St. Patrick wasn't actually Irish. I I don't know where he came from, but he arrived in Ireland, apparently, as a slave. And he came from Britain, according to this report. I haven't heard that before, though. And today they say everyone is Irish. Regardless of your birth heritage, on St. Patrick's Day, everyone is welcome to identify as Irish. So there we are. If you're looking for a new identity, well, why not? Today is a perfect day to become Irish. All right. And if you're looking for more info, of course, the hashtag St. Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's Day food, St. Patrick's Day parades, another hashtag, St. Patrick's Day 2024. These will all get you into the celebrations. And that's it from me. See you all again soon. Take care. Bye.